Okay, in this video we're going to cover the steps to complete a 2D sketch properly. Now, you really don't have to type anything in your notes. This is just going to be a reference for you later for the steps to complete a 2D sketch. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps you need to do to complete a 2D sketch properly. Again, we already did the save as, so we're done with step 1. You already did that. You opened a part file, you did a save as, and you saved it into the proper location with the proper naming convention. The next thing that we always do is start a 2D sketch. So again, that is in your ribbon. If I go to 3D model ribbon, again we work left to right. The first thing we're going to do is click on start 2D sketch. Remember, big buttons only, don't worry about the drop down. So I'm going to click on start 2D sketch. As soon as I do that, you get these different planes that pop up. There's 1, 2, 3 different planes. And the way that I see them, I see a front view, a right side view, and a top. And they're specifically named. You have an XY plane for your front, you have your YZ for your right, and you have your XZ for your top. So let's take a look at what the next step is. We did a save as, we did a 2D sketch. Now if you look at which one is highlighted red, that's the one we're going to start with. So if you remember from our previous notes and things that we've talked about, you always start with the front view. So we are going to click on this plane to start with the front view. As soon as I click on that plane, the XY plane, you'll notice up here in the top right corner we have something called a view cube. It says front. Don't play with anything up there right now, just notice what it says. I want you to pay attention to that. So we are in the front view. You also notice this big crosshair with a yellow dot in the middle. So that is going to be, we'll be talking about that in a minute. You'll also notice that the ribbon transitioned from 3D model to sketch, and that sketch is now highlighted green. There's a little green box around it. So you're now in the sketch ribbon. And then finally, the other thing I want you to pay attention to is your model browser. Notice that it created a new sketch 1 in the browser. So it's already starting to keep track of what I'm doing. Okay, so that's how to initially start the sketch on the front view. Let's see what's next. So we started with the front view. You'll notice now that remember that big crosshair? And there's a yellow green dot in the middle. That dot represents 0, 0. So you should always start your sketch, no matter what you're going to do, at the 0, 0 point. So let's just do a little practice here. Let's just take our line tool. Again, I'm working left to right. I already created the 2D sketch. Well, what's next? Well, do I want to create a line? Do I want to create a circle, a rectangle? Let's just start with line. Notice in parentheses, it has an L. So that's the keyboard shortcut. And notice how if I hover over it, it'll also give me a quick description and even some pictures to kind of show me what that tool does. So it's very nice and easy to learn different tools just by hovering over them, getting this description, the name, and then finally the last thing I want to tell you, notice how it says press F1 for more help. If I hover over a tool and I hit F1, it'll take me to Autodesk website and it'll give me a better description of that tool if you're ever stuck. Alright, let's go back. I got a little bit off task there. Let's click on line. Notice when I click on it, the tool stays highlighted blue up top. And remember, we always start at 0, 0. So I'm going to hover over, oh, there's a green dot. As soon as I hover over it, there's a green dot. So I'm snapping to 0, 0. Notice the X and the Y. So I'm just going to left click once and let go of my mouse. And then I'm just going to simply move the mouse and now I'm creating a line. Let's just go ahead and draw a line over to the right. Doesn't matter how far, just go a little bit over. I'm going straight across, left click again. Then once you let go of the mouse, you're just going to go straight up. I'm just going to left click again, just go as far as you want, just a little bit up. Just going straight up, left click, let go. Then I'm going to go to the left. This time I'm going to go and I'm going to stop at this Y axis, right? And you'll notice that your mouse will kind of stop on it, which will allow you to snap to it. So I'm going to just left click again, and then I'm going to go straight down and finish off back at 0, 0. Notice the green dot. I'm going to left click. So all I did was just make a basic rectangle, nothing crazy. That I didn't give you any measurements or anything. And then now I'm all done. But notice that the line tool is still highlighted blue. Well, I'm done drawing lines. Whenever you're trying to get out of something, hit the escape key on the keyboard. It's in the top left corner of your keyboard, so hit escape. As soon as I do that, I'm out of the line tool. I'm done with it. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at our notes. We did a save as, we started the 2D sketch, we went on the front plane, we started it at 0, 0, we drew our sketch that we wanted, we just drew a simple rectangle. The next thing I want to do is just give it some basic measurements. So I need to dimension. So I need to tell the software how big that thing should be. And your dimension tool is over here in the constrain panel of the sketch ribbon. So I'm going to click on dimension, or D on the keyboard will work. Notice what it's showing you. If you click a line, you can add a size dimension and tell it how big it is. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to do that 2 times. We're going to do it for the height and for the width. So I click dimension, notice it's highlighted blue, and I'm just going to hover over this line. Notice the dimension icon pops up with the arrows, and I'm just going to left click once and let go, and then move my mouse. I can go right, I can go left, doesn't matter. I'm just going to move my mouse over here and then left click again. As soon as I do that, it adds the dimension, but now it wants to know, well, how big? I don't know, let's just make up a number here. I'm going to just go something close. I'm going to go 0.35. You could do whatever number you want. Just don't go huge. Go something close to what you already have. So I'm going to go 0.35. Notice my lines are also changing color. As soon as I did that, these are now purple. But this one is still green. I'll tell you what that means in a minute. The other dimension that I need to add is the length of the rectangle. So I'm going to click this line down here because I'm still in the dimension tool. It's highlighted blue. Left click once, let go, and just move your mouse to add the dimension. Left click again, and then type in a measurement. So go something in close proximity to what you already have. I'm just going to go 0.5. You pick the number. Go close to what you already have. Notice as soon as I did that, all of my lines are purple. Purple is good. What purple means is that you have all the dimensions you need to create this thing. You've given all the measurements needed to make it. Purple means something called fully constrained, which we'll explain a little bit more later on. Now, I'm done with the dimension tool, so I need to hit escape on the keyboard to get out of it. So I'm going to hit escape. Notice it's no longer highlighted blue. So purple is good. You want to see all purple. That means fully constrained. The other way I know something is fully constrained is I'll see a pin on the icon over here in my model browser. Notice when I hover over it, it even says fully constrained. So when you're done with a sketch, you should see all purple, or you should see a pin on here. That means that your sketch is fully dimensioned. It has everything that it needs. So purple or the pin indicates fully constrained. So the last thing that we need to do once it's purple or fully constrained is hit finish sketch. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to hit finish sketch, and then now I have my object fully constrained, and this is a 2D object. Notice my view cube went back to 3D, right? So I'm no longer in a direct front view. So that is how you can create a 2D sketch. In the next video, we're going to talk about panning, zooming, and doing things like that in the next video.